Good morning. We will begin our program shortly, so we'd like to request you to settle down, please. We've got plenty of seats, so just a few reminders to make sure that you stick to the COVID protocols and sit only at designated areas. Thank you. I think the mood is good enough for us to invite Father Charles Mundia, the chaplain of the university, to open this sitting with a word of prayer.
Thank you, Beatrice. I'll request you to stand so that we say a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty God, we come before you in thanksgiving for this great moment you have given us to be here, to have this function that will be the midterm review of our journey to 2025. You're the one who told us that if the Lord doesn't build, then the laborers work in vain. So we want to build this with you. We want to thank you for being with us as we journey towards our goals. We want to thank you for each day that you keep us alive, each day that you give us your gifts. We want to thank you for each and every one here present and for their families as well. We want to thank you for the university and all the people who belong to this university, staff and students as well. We want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to even deliberate over all the issues that have been set aside for today. And given the fact that today we also have a session later on that will be on Thanksgiving, we want to begin the day thanking you for everything that you have done for us. Be with us and bless us always. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Now that I've been given the mic to tell you that later there will be a session on Thanksgiving on the staff wellness, and you're all invited. And thank you, Chair. Thank you, Beatrice.
Thank you, Father Charles. The Pro-Chancellor, who is joining us online, the Chair of the University Council, Mrs. Musundi, members of the University Council present, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor John Othiambo, the Vice-Chancellor-designate, Dr. Ogutu, Deputy Vice-Chancellors present, the University Secretary, members of the Management Board present, the Deans of Schools, distinguished guests, a very good morning to you. We welcome you to this joyous occasion. We have a very short and succinct program, and we're looking forward to celebrating this great milestone together. I will now invite the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Planning and Development, Dr. Mungai, to give us a brief overview of the strategic plan.
Thank you, Beatrice. The Pro-Chancellor, Father Silvano, the Chair of the Strathmore University Council, Mrs. Musudi, other members of the University Council present or following this event online, my colleagues, staff members, students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. So I have been given this opportunity to make some brief remarks about the strategy that we are about to relaunch. This is a mid-term review of the 10-year strategy that was launched way back in 2015. As happens with the strategy journey, when you're halfway there, you review and decide what you want to adjust. In preparing my remarks, I tried to check whatever happened on 25th of November that we can tie to. And you know, there are not too many things, unfortunately, but there are very good, a few good things. Way back in 1940, you know, that's a bit too back, there is a famous musician called Percy Stretch. Now, you may check why he was popular. But that's quite way back. So in 2014, for the footballers, Lionel Messi became the first ever champion, all-time top scorer. But closer home, and I think this is why I start, 2015 on this day, Pope Francis arrived in Kenya. That's 5 years ago. So it's a significant day. And I think being 5 years ties to my intention here to briefly capture, I hope this moves, it's supposed to, thank you, to the 5 things I want to highlight in this overview. This has been a consultative process, so we can actually say, we, the people of Strathmore, this is our strategy. So the few things I'm highlighting here are about we. If anything, after this session, I would like to hope that we recall is the first one, which is our vision, which comes out there. To be a leading entrepreneurial university. So previous slide, please. Moving too fast for me. To be a leading entrepreneurial university. This is why I wanted to control my slides. There you are. I will stay here for some time, so I'll let you know when to move next. So to be a leading entrepreneurial university, positively impact society by doing excellent work. So my colleagues, we the people of Strathmore, if somebody asks you after this session, what do you do in Strathmore? There you have it. Positively impact society by doing excellent work. If we can all relate with that, I think we are way to go. Far. The second thing is obviously about our mission, which is also captured in that slide. How do you do this excellence? And you see the word excellence actually cuts across. Excellence in teaching, research, and scholarship. So the 2 things of the 5, is doing excellent work and excellence in teaching, research, and scholarship. So with these 2 things, I would like to believe that we all capture very well why we are here and what we aspire to do. Now, why do we do these things? And that's very important for us. And we try to capture this on the last line on this strategy house, which is our core values. Now, the core values sort of joins us together in the different things that you're trying to do. The strategy team, and I want to thank them and people who participated in this, we have 8 core values. And there was a kind of, how do we remember all these core values? So I thank the team that was able to come up with an acronym that summarizes these 8 values. Next slide. These values have been summarized in what we call self-spec. Okay? So this is my 3rd thing. Doing excellent work, excellence in teaching, research, and scholarship. And 3rd, self-spec. And self relate to those values that, as the slide says, relate to the individual's relationship with oneself. So we have service society, we have excellence, cuts across, lifelong learning, freedom and responsibility. But as a mirror of that, so the spec, it's also you want to do it how you relate with other people. And that ties with subsidiarity, which is we let things happen at the lowest place possible. Personalized attention, okay, we do things professionally, and make sure that you treat the other person as you are. ethical practice, and finally, collegiality, which obviously is something that we clearly here go for. So these 8 values sort of is the base. I think the Father Charles mentioned about this. You know, if the road doesn't build a house, it falls. So if we don't live with these 8 values, a lot of things will not work well. Next slide, please. All this starts with our employees. So if you look at the strategy house, we have 4 pillars. And in those 4 pillars, which ties to up with, what do we do? Now, I'm a teacher, so I can also ask. Excellence in teaching, research, scholarship. And the last one is about staff. And you can see here, we try to look at 2025. And given the dynamics you're having at the moment, what do we want to be with our staff? And we came with this acronym, LEADS. So for us to be able to achieve this mission and vision, we aspire that our staff and ourselves will embrace this acronym, which means we have to learn continuously. Is that correct? Continuously. Embrace ethical behavior, agile to changes. We know the changes that are happening. Digital citizens, and finally, sustainability advocate. So these values, which I remember, as we say, these are consultative process, took a bit of time to come up with, sort of takes us to 2025. So we would like, and one of the things we would like to measure is how well are we embracing these as members of staff. This last 9 months, we do not want to even think back why these 5, these characteristics of an employee would be very, very important in making sure that we are where we are. But we like to make them even much more stronger. So we can say, we the people. Remember this, we the people? We the people of Strathmore would like to be leads in 2025. And for this to happen, and to make sure that we achieve our strategy, and so that next time somebody checks the dates of what happened in November 25th, and then they'll ask, so what happens on November 25th? They'll say, oh, Strathmore launched its lead strategy. Because we are going to make sure, or at least do our best to achieve what we set ourselves to do. And this leads me to the last thing of the 5. Next slide, please. Which is about what we call our cross-cutting areas. Because our university motto, that all may be one, means that we have to support each other in achieving this strategy we have set for ourselves. So these cross-cutting areas that I won't have to go through them, you have a booklet, are areas where we have to mainstream them across the university for every school, for every department. We are one family. So I'm sure you have the booklet, but just next slide, please, so that people can see them quickly. So this time and age, digital transformation, continuous quality improvement, partnerships, alumni engagement, for example. All these values, we need to cut them across. So whether you're in mentoring, whether you're inviting guest speakers, for example, whether you're fundraising, you try to think, how do we, for example, engage alumni? All these things. Next slide, so that I don't take, internalization is a big thing. We are already doing that. But I wanted to focus a bit on the data analytics. We know that at this time, this is becoming one of the core, you would say, competitive advantage, and is used a lot in data-driven decision-making institution, which is what we want to aspire our culture to be. A culture where decisions are made based on data. So it's not there, because this came after last-minute consultations, but we want that to be able to support this achievement of the strategy. The 5th thing is that we need to track the implementation. In fact, if we don't do that, Nobody remember what happened on November 25th, 2020. So implementation is key. So aligned to our data analytics focus, we want to propose, and we have proposed in a previous session, we adopt an acronym. If you did it, make it count. If you did it, make it count. Why is this important? Because if we do not make it count, then we have no way to know what we are achieving. Make it count, MIC. It's a mic, like the one I'm holding. But remember what, because I'm coming to the end of the slide, next slide for me, my presentation. Because it cuts on what are enablers. These things will not happen if we do not, the mic, communicate. So among the enablers, a very important one is communicate. There's a story. I still have 2 minutes, no? No. And with this I finish. Yeah. About communication. Because communication, Betty's team does very well, but what you would like, as part of the strategy, you read the document, and it's also enlightened here, is to be able to have cross-cutting communication. When something good happens in one department, we can also share that in another department. So, as you know, fundraising comes part of our division, and one of the times I was speaking to someone, hoping that we can fundraise. And the person I talked, and then the person says, you know, Strathmore, I didn't think that you behave like a public university. And I say, oh gosh. Now, when you're trying to fundraise and somebody says that, you're in trouble. I brought my son, we applied, and we have been waiting for feedback. We told, wait, and you know, I'm giving up. I want to move my child. And I said, just give me the name, let me check, and we can talk tomorrow. And by the way, just check what is the last communication your son has. So, of course, I checked. And the school, I will not mention the school so that we can all stay humble. And I checked with the school. In fact, before I checked the school, the parent called me back. That's the next day. No, don't worry. They communicated back. They just told the student what was happening. And I said, that's it. This is the parent who calls me back. Now I know you're not a public university. And they explained a lot what has been happening. Now these are the stories that we need to share. It looks small, but I think it aligns very much that even if we have to tell a student he's not being admitted, we communicate back. This is excellence. So the underlying theme of our strategy is the journey to 2025 leads to excellence. So if you leave anything else, just remember that Strathmore aspires for excellence. My last slide, and that's the journey. So welcome to the strategy launch of Strathmore, the journey to 2025 leads to excellence. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's now my honor and pleasure to invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor John Odhiambo, to make some remarks, and thereafter invite our keynote speaker, the Chair of the Council. Professor Odhiambo, please. To do the COVID, I'm told, so let's keep the protocols. Thank you, Prof, for holding with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I recognize in a special way my chair of council. When she's here, I behave better, you know. I promise not to shout or not to behave inordinately. But I'm sure our Pro-Chancellor is also listening from his vantage point. So I send our greetings to him and welcome him warmly. Because the mic is not fixed, it enables me to move a bit, which is very good. Now, I wish Mungai was gracious enough to give me slides so that I can go through these things systematically. But I'm proud because Mungai is my academic child. And so if he impressed you, then already have great credit. I demand that that credit be accorded to me directly. Yeah, very good. So this is a special occasion. This is why I'm speaking with a light heart, because it's not an occasion to be too solemn. It's an occasion to celebrate together a milestone that is happening at times when people would think that we should be gloomy and so on. You see, when you are have a mass, nobody tells whether you are grinning or, yeah, but this is an occasion we're supposed to express our cheerfulness because we are celebrating a milestone. When we talk of a launch, what's the meaning of these launches? Is it for public consumption? You want to speak to the world? I think first and foremost is for the internal public, our stakeholders, that here is something we have been doing together, and we want to come together to say that now we are embarking the progress, the process of making this happen. So that if we are talking of the journey to 2025, explained in the strategy, then this launch means that together, as the Strathmore family, the Strathmore community, we are coming together to declare our commitment to embark on the journey of making the things stated in the strategy happen. So that's the key, that's the meaning of the launch. That's why it is something that we celebrate, but we celebrate it knowing that our responsibility to make it happen comes number one. Two, Mungai told you, we launched in a big way the 2025 strategy. In 2015, it was a 10-year strategy, and the management board, after reflection and consulting with the University Council, saw that it was useful and timely to do a midterm review. Why was this important, or why is this important for Strathmore? Because you see, you have to unpack systematically and continuously the meaning of service society. It could begin by mobilizing our students and staff to do car wash, or to clean the streets, or to visit children's homes. That's very good. We already do a lot of that. You could also mobilize our professors to make sure that they do research that inform and empower our government to be competitive in the region and globally. That they have started doing, and they should do more. So that's also service society. But a university that is committed to serve society is not limited to its immediate environment, not even to the regional environment. We remain very alert and sensitive to the global environment. So we study continuously the trends in the global environment. And that is what informs what we do in order to work out, to see, to plan, to put in place mechanisms for serving society locally, regionally, and globally. So if you've been following global trends, then you know that for about 20, 30 years now, we've been talking of the onset of the fourth industrial revolution that is riding on the crest of digital revolution. And that has led to an imperative and very infestive data revolution. So the main components of the fourth industrial revolution are the digital revolution that then empowers data revolution. So Strathmore is aware of this. So we said, now you see, we've been saying these things and claiming that in Africa, we are one of the few universities that are working in such a way that they are probably, from time to time, treading into the space of the fourth industrial revolution. Why don't we make this real? Can we sit down and re-examine our strategy and see whether there are things in there that we can do in such a way that we legitimately allow the VC to do as he keeps shouting that we are a fourth generation university. Because this can be an empty statement. Because, you know, he stands there and he believes that nobody understands this thing. He will say fourth generation university. No one understands. So nobody stops him. Nobody criticizes. So the university team sat down and said, let us give meaning to this. So the midterm review was inspired by the need to see where Strathmore sits in the global arena as a university committed to serve society. But we are not limited here. We interact a lot with people from outer spaces, global spaces, not the moon. You see, so that is the basis of this. So you find that in this reviewed strategy, there are several things that we have made more explicit. All of us know that Strathmore is people-focused. Students and staff. We are here just for those two people. The university was set in order to serve those two sets of people, students and staff. Those are people, so we are people-focused. Our education makes sure that our students graduate to be good citizens, good persons. Da Silva says you say they must be good. You normally, you have a way of expressing this in a very...
that they should pursue goodness, truth, and beauty.
Yes. That's our students. You see, so we give them education that make them be good people, good persons, people who go out there and serve, people who go there and are good employees, good citizens, good Kenyans, good East Africans, good global citizens. That is what is in our strategy. At the end, that is our out. When we admit a student, we are not talking about a student coming out with PhD, masters, or bachelors. We are talking about a student coming out with characteristics that make them good, so focused on the person. Our staff, we want to make sure, and we try to do so, and we've been trying to do that from the inception of the university, that when they work here, they see the value of their work in the context of them developing and growing as persons, looking after their families, and meeting their social obligations as citizens. So it builds them, it makes them grow, so we are people-focused. That's why we are here. Because, you know, when you start a company, obviously, you can be agribusiness or somebody. Maybe you want to make money, or you want to do something else. But for us here, we are here for that purpose, of serving these two sets of people, students and staff, so that they grow into good persons. That's our aim. To do that, we need a lot of money, so we can do a lot of things. Trading, doing this. In fact, I'm telling Mungai, we must look for 1,000 acres to do farming, so that we can make much money for the university to look at our students and staff. And he said that he will do that, and he'll name the farm after me. And Vincent told me that That is going to be his main vision, to make sure that Strathmore can do that so that our students and staff can thrive. So you can see, so we said, now, why don't we make this something that everybody now can see? Because we say, no, this is so much innate to us. It's so much underlying that we were doing it, but we were not making it. That's why we now have the fourth pillar of people, transforming staff experience. It is not new. Something we have been doing. It's like a teacher teaching, and then finally you say, you know what I've been telling you? This is the theory I've been building. Transformative staff experience. That is, so it's not a new thing. It's not a new concept. It's a new way of presenting this so that our internal public, the regional public, the global public can now know what has been inspiring and driving us. That's point number 2. Number 3, we saw that the things that we have been doing, the things that we said we were going to do in our strategy need to be presented in such a way that it's clear that we are going to use as a very definite enabler the digital technology in order to do everything that we do. Whether it is teaching, whether it is management, whether it is governance, we are going to depend more and more on digital technology. But we are very clear as a university. This has been clarified to our internal public. The regional public, because we are in the region and strong there. Imagine we are even in Tanzania with Joseph, the president there. Now, and we are there globally, but we want to make it very clear that we understand and see very clearly that digital technology is an enabler, is something that will help us to achieve our mission and strategic vision. It is not going to control what we do. We are going to control and employ digital technology to achieve what we have said here. So it's a key enabler. We also saw that since we are operating in the global arena, matters of sustainability are becoming very important. We cannot ignore them. In its diversity, when we are not talking of environmental only, we need financial sustainability, environmental sustainability, and we are leading here, thanks to Da Silva is mad about green energy, and we are leading in this. That is a very important and modern and current and fourth generation approach to what? Thank you. Thank you. You see, so sustainability. Then something that Mungai correctly emphasized, data. We're saying in the inverse that we want to work in such a way, all of us, whether you are students, you are staff, managers, governors, in such a way that we base our decisions on evidence. Because that provides us with a forum for being fair, for being just, for being accurate, but also effective in what we do. When we say that, it does not mean that the natural wisdom that is expected of a leader is subjugated. No. It means that in applying that wisdom, you make use of this evidence. So we are going to discard any occasion where you make decisions, whether they are management government decisions, on the basis of natural wisdom that belong to you alone. You must associate that with evidence provided by data. So we are depending on data heavily, and that's why we are building a very effective data office that supports this. I wanted to emphasize those aspects. Those are the key things that come out in this strategy. It is a modern-facing strategy that is answering to the demands of the fourth industrial revolution, empowered by digital revolution, that is riding on the power of data revolution. I stress data here because data is enjoyable to me, but that's enough. So that I don't say more than I should say, I wanted to highlight those so that you see what actually inspired us to do this review. So it's not a mechanical review. So something that you know the time has come. It is something that came because we wanted to fit it in the modern time of things. And we think we have done so. And when COVID was happening, the review had been already done. Then COVID happened. And then we saw that now with COVID happening, everyone and all of us, we were grappling with the idea of how do we deal with this thing? So we reactive, trying to solve problems of that time, dealing with problems of survival and so on. The management board working together with the University Council and our staff and students saw clearly that Strathmore was not the kind of place that you spend all your energy simply struggling to deal with matters of survival. We decided that we will use the challenges that are emanating from the COVID episodes, pandemic for that matter, to learn important lessons and use those lessons to provide a platform for Strathmore to move at a faster pace into the fourth generation university. So that's what we have been working on. So there are elements in this strategy that now require us to be a bit more flexible, to be a bit more adaptive, to a bit more open-minded in the way we do curriculum development, in the way we do management, and the way we do governance. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful occasion. It's an occasion that calls for our celebration. It's an occasion that calls for our thinking together, but sees this way, that Strathmore, through this midterm review, is taking off into the space, not into the space of strategic confinement, but into the space of strategic outlook. We are talking here of things that we see into the future, because with all these uncertainties, you can only talk of outlook. We cannot talk of strategic prescriptions. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Professor Odhiambo. I wish to request you to invite our chief guest, please.
Oh, thank you. So now it's delightful. Oh, you are even sanitizing the chair. This must be really serious. Okay, so it's now my delightful pleasure. Those words strengthen each other. Beatrice, I hope I'm not breaking language rules here. Delightful pleasure to welcome the chair to give her keynote address to our internal public, to our regional public, and to the global public. People are hooking on here. We are a very important center of activity in Africa. And welcome, Chair.
Can I be heard from the back? You can hear me also? Good. Good morning, all of you. May I ride on Dr. Mungai's request that you say big good morning? So I want to hear it good morning from everywhere. Thank you. Thank you. May I acknowledge the Pro-Chancellor, Father Silvano, the University Council members present here, and those online. I have present here Miss Margaret Osure, she's out there. I have Dr. Susan Kibuye. I have Mr. Pascal Manyuru. He's somewhere, I saw him. Oh, sorry, yeah, he's here. And of course, the Vice Chancellor himself, no, the Vice Chancellor himself is a member of the council too, Professor Diambo. With that, I would also like to recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor designate, Dr. Vincent Ogutu. I think you all know him. And then members of the management board. But before I go there, I would like to, in a very special way, to recognize the presence of the chaplain of Strathmore University. It's very significant for all of us to recognize his presence here, Father Charles Mundia and his team, because they make a great difference. He's seated right here. That is Father Charles Mundia, the chaplain of Strathmore University. I recognize all staff of the great family of Strathmore University and others who are listening in. Somebody is asking, what about the other council members? May I just say that some of them are online. I would like to mention those who are online. Professor Waema is online. I have Mr. Ojode, he's online. I have, who's the other one? Pardon? Oh yes, Mr. Fernando Icepoon is also online. You are all very welcome, and please feel at home. May I just mention that there are many deans here whom I would have liked to mention by name, but they do understand how I appreciate their presence here. With that, and all members of staff, including the Master of Ceremony, Dr. Njeru, I say, feel at home. You believe me or not, my talk is going to be a summary, if not a repeat of everything that has been said. There may not be anything new in what I'll say, because it has all been summarized in a very good way by Dr. Mungai and Professor Odhiambo. Am I saying it shouldn't have been done so? No. If I'm not going to be talking about what they have said, then it would be another strategic plan we are talking about. So it's going to be repeated from today on and on as many times as we can. And believe me or not, by the time 2025 comes, we shall have heard it so many times that we shall be singing a song about it. So please bear with me as I repeat some of the issues which have been raised already, and they are all in context because they all belong to the same strategic plan. So on behalf of the Strathmore University Council, I am pleased to present Strathmore University's midterm strategic plan 2021 to 2025. This strategic plan is a result of the midterm review of the strategic plan which we started off in 2015. The goals identified within this new 5-year plan reflect the hopes and dreams of all of us. That means the students, the staff, the faculty in various departments, and the alumni, and what Professor Diambo called our stakeholders, but maybe our friends. We sometimes want to call them friends or people, or our neighbors in many ways, or our parents, and those who come in contact with us. But allow me, before I get into the strategic plan, to say something which is very dear to me and to my colleagues in the council. This is that we as a council want to make it very clear to you all, members of staff who are present here, that we have been very touched by the way you have handled yourself in the last 9 months. I know you know what I'm talking about. Nobody in this world, maybe others say they knew, but did we know, or many people in the world, they didn't know about the pandemic coming in March. For us in Kenya, it was a terrible thing that happened. However, you have proved to the whole world of what a unified body that you are, what a team you are to each other, and how you have drawn on that big tree of love by being very caring to your sisters and brothers. You have actually played out what we call be your sisters, be your brother's keeper. Could it have been any better? No. Of course, we always have the great room of improvement in ourselves, but I can assure you that this was played out, and everybody can say that. The university has stood to where it is. We've reached where it is because you all cared for each other. You all looked at each other as a sister, as a brother, and you held each other's hand and moved on. I can assure you that my thanks is an understatement. You could hear it from all the echoes from our council members, how much they have been touched by this. May I congratulate you for it and ask you to continue, carry on with that spirit, because that is who we are. And when Professor Odhiambo was talking, I said, yes, that's where we come from. We are made of that. Our mission, our vision is all made up of being there for each other. Now let me get into my job here. Why am I here? I am here because, you can hear me? Oh, sorry, I'm told I have to hold my mic closer to myself. Thank you for letting me know. Yes, I would like to talk about the process and the outcome. The process of strategic plan review began last year, 2019. The review of our strategic plan took a participatory approach to envision the future Strathmore University. Most of you and several others who are not here diligently worked on this outcome, which has come now. Early in this year, we found ourselves, we were ready to launch it, but as a council, we found we are struck when the COVID came about. And therefore, we said we'll wait until at a time which is opportune and we can do it, because the pandemic had struck. This made us hold back to the launch and again revisit fundamental questions about the future of the university. I'm happy to note that we are finally there. Today, we are coming here to see that we set ourselves on that great path to 2025. There was a good reason. For everything that happens, there's always a good reason. So maybe this is the right time that we should set off to 2025. The strategic plan we are talking about builds from a position of confidence. Strathmore University has a clear identity, a sense of purpose, and a history of achievements. Yes, achievement. Let us not play down some of the great achievements we made. It's a university with a mission, very clear mission, set out way back in 1958. I could almost ask how many of you are alive, but I don't want to dare do that because I might have nobody putting up their hand. The midterm review strategy we are launching today builds on that, on our accomplishments, to focus our institutional energy and resources on further development guided by the vision to be a living entrepreneur university, positively impacting society by doing excellent work. This was very well explained by Dr. Mungai. We envisage Strathmore University as a leading fourth generation university by the year 2025. Professor, you might reach there before 2025. because, yeah, you may have, by next year, you might find yourself that you're already there. A university that will play a central role in driving and influencing society transformation. We aim to prepare leaders for the future. I encourage you to look at yourself as a leader, not for future, even presently, that you are leaders. Through research, generated knowledge, and that supports sustainable economic growth. Embedded in sustainability in our organizational model, and continue to actively give service to society. That is our way of life, that we always aim at giving service to society. The better way of looking at it is that the way we serve each other here, it's the only way we can serve other people. You can't give what you don't have. And the only way to practice it is by doing it to your next neighbor, your next person, your own sister and brother that you work with every day. We aim to achieve these goals by having our students, staff, alumni, taking a leading role as positive, transformative change agents in the society. I encourage you to take that responsibility. For all this to happen, we want to give more focus to our staff. Charity, as I've said, starts at home. The outcome of the strategic review process, which is shared in more detailed documents, is summarized in the following pillars. In 2015, for your information, we started off with 3 pillars. But so today we have 4 pillars. And I'm sure you have seen when Dr. Mungai and the professor have been talking, how it came about. The first one is transformative student experience, service to society, research and innovation, and transformative staff experience. For this launch ceremony, allow me to dwell a little bit more on people. Professor said this, and I don't think I can over-repeat it, and that is people, people, people. That is what we are all about, because we are people. And you know the miracles that come about when you touch on people. At Strathmore University, we believe that our staff are the foundation of our success. Such a success is only possible as a result of dedication and passion from each individual. That is each individual looking at the mission, the vision, and values of our beloved university, our very noble university. It's therefore no surprise that one of the outcomes of the midterm strategy review process is the upgrading of one of our former strategic enablers to a full strategic pillar, appropriately called transformative staff experience. That is where it comes from. In this pillar, our goal is to provide a working environment where staff have opportunities for academic, professional, and personal development. Yes, they have opportunities for academic, professional, and personal development. It is only there that we can ask them more of them. The pillar also seeks to enhance our values, which have been summarized by Dr. Mungai. I don't want to repeat them. He has used acronyms which, like self, spec, relating to how one deals with self and others, respectively. The values are aligned with words like, do unto others as you want others to do to you. Isn't that what we all aim for? Isn't that what we all look for? How nice that you can smile to each other, regardless of whether you know each other or not, but you are all in Strathmore. That you meet somebody on the corridor and you just say hello. That is something very special. Please don't take it as if it is from our next door neighbors, because one time I was told that Kenya, we don't say hello. But some other country, which is our neighbor, somebody stops you and asks you, how are you? How is your family? And how is your dog? Yeah, but in Kenya, you are in such a hurry that you don't have time to even ask, how are you, or even smile. It is our hope that come 2025, each Strathmore staff will be leads. I think this was very well explained. Leads mean learn continuously, embrace ethical behavior, be agile to change, digital citizen, as Professor said, and be an advocate of sustainability. To achieve this aim, we will continue to invest in our people through staff development programs, and the council is very aware of this. Improved approaches to recognition and rewards. We are very quick to judge, to punish, and all that. But it's going to be both ways. And each one of them has a purpose. You reward with a purpose that somebody will improve even better, will do better. And you punish or you sanction or you do whatever it is with a view that you will help them come to the right path. To achieve this aim, we'll continue to invest in our people through staff development, as I've said, talent management, managing our people, being able to identify special talents in our people, among others, and being able to utilize them, being able to ask people, what do you think? I always tell this to people, that there's nobody who comes to you with a problem that does not have an idea of how that problem can be solved. Do you know that? If I come to you and I tell you I have a very serious headache, I'm thinking that you will say to me, take Panadol, have this, have you seen the doctor, and all that. They already have. So I have something I learned when I was young, and that is that when somebody tells you a problem, always have the courtesy to ask the person, how do you think we can solve this? And you'll be surprised the ideas that flow from such a person. Therefore, we are counting on you in a very special way. The next step in the implementation may be more important one in this journey in the strategy implementation. The step requires translating the agreed upon strategies into actions by creating departmental operational implementation plans. When talking to the DVC Planning and Development, Dr. Mungai, I said, it has to be owned. It has to belong to people. It's not going to be yours. It's not going to be management board, neither the university council. We don't have anything. Each one of us must feel the need to walk hand in hand with each other in implementing this. I see this as a given in many ways because you will be able to do this. I call upon you to really embrace this, to really own it. Let it belong to you. That each department, each faculty will be able to say, SBS will be able to say, our journey to 2025 is this, within these broad ideas that have been brought. And we break it down. And there's no week we have a meeting without referring to it. How far are we going? Is there any change? To support successful implementation, this is what is required. The university will give more emphasis to data analytics. This professor said so many ways. These days you talk to people and they keep asking you this question. Where's the evidence? Even obvious things. You are telling that God gave 10 commandments. Give us the evidence. And I have to go to Father Charles to ask, now where do I get this evidence? Yeah? But it's not a bad thing. It helps. Because other people are spreading rumors which we don't need to be part of. And therefore, if we can have evidence, we can have data which supports us, which supports our ideas, that our decisions are based on what we stand for. That we can actually say, we've changed here because data has shown this. That is what it is. That's what we are being asked to do. That we make Strathmore a place where decision-making is based on data. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and talk forever. I wish to come to some kind of end. It's my humble call to all of us present here, and I'm repeating really, to look at this new strategy as our strategy. Let us own it, own it. I want us to leave this room and ask Dr. Mungai and his team, Jacqueline and all those who work with him, give us our copy and let us go and translate it to make it operational at our level. And that goes for everybody in Strathmore, from the people who are receiving at the gate to the people who are sending us home. Like in most other new endeavors, there may be challenges. Yes, there will be. And we are human, so it should be. And the need for adjustment during the implementation. When such a need arises, let us collaborate. Not so long time ago, we had the theme collaboration. So it comes to play. All our 8 values, believe me or not, they all are needed at all times. They all add up to what we want to do. Collaborate with each other, and I agree on the way forward. It is a dynamic strategic plan. It's one that can be looked at and be able. You are not saying you must, it's not cast on stone. It's one that we can review. Had it been cast on stone in 2015, what would we do in 2020 with a pandemic? Do you ask yourself that question? So that is what it means. Let us collaborate, agree on the way forward, in line with the university's motto, that all may be one. Given the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we are aware that strategy and particularly its implementation must be dynamic and responsive to challenges or to changes. I am optimistic that Strathmore University community or family is up to the task. I don't know anybody here who would claim what I'm going to claim. I have been in Strathmore long enough, and I can tell you, each and every one of you, you are all up to this task, and you can do it to the best that it can be done. You can count on the University Council. My colleagues are here. They will hold me to this. And we promise that we shall be able to walk this journey with you, journey of Strathmore University journey to 2025. Together, we will achieve more and much, much more. And together, we shall go further, and together, we shall give service to the society. Together, we will make all those who relate with us say, it was good I met a Strathmore person. It was good I came to Strathmore. It is what is required of us. I would be failing in my duty if I didn't mention the founder, the saint with this mission, Saint Jose Maria, believed so much in this. He believed so much in it. Unity, believed in oneness, believed in so many of these things that we are talking about. And he went through so much to put everything together for us to talk about. And when he thought of this university, I'm sure, 1958, many people did not even realize how it can be. But here we are, 62 years down the line, we are still talking, and the mission is still very relevant. What else can I ask? My last comment is, be more, that is, do more. If you do anything, count, let it count. That is the data we have talked about. And yes, be Strathmore. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you. Sanitize me.
Be more, do more, be Strathmore. Thank you, Mrs. Musundi, for inspiring us on this journey to 2025. Thank you. Shall we appreciate her once more? Thank you very much. We're now getting to that special moment where we officially launch this program, and to help us do that, I wish to invite the chair of the council, the chair of the oversight committee, the vice chancellor designate, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Planning, Dr. Mungai, to join us on stage here. And the rest of us will be upstanding, ladies and gentlemen, as we officially launch this program. I will also request the chaplain of the university, Father Charles, to please join them. We're on a countdown. We're only missing drum rolls. I think we can clap, ladies and gentlemen, as we wait. That's beautiful. Wonderful. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Awesome. That's beautiful. Very good. Beautiful. I will now request the University Council to hand over the strategic plan to the management board. That's a lovely strategy, very big and nice. Shall we encourage them on as they do this? Let's clap. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may please take your seats. Strategy is big, but Mrs. Musundi has encouraged that we will do it. We can do it. Thank you. We're getting to the tail end of this program, but just before then, we would like to very sincerely thank the chair of the University Council for being with us and for giving us such an inspiring message. And I would like to request Professor John Odhiambo to kindly gift her as our way of saying thank you for taking her time to be with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to invite Jacqueline Chibai, the Director of Strategy and Quality Assurance, to move a vote of thanks, and thereafter we will be welcome to a cake cutting ceremony, which will be outside at the atrium to crown this whole ceremony. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish you could see my smile. I'm very happy and humbled to have everyone present in the room. I'd like to say, when March came along, I was very ready. Everything was planned. And then suddenly, oh my God, Corona happened. And then everything was thrown away. So the whole concept of VUCA came alive. VUCA, which is, we are now in a period of volatility. There's uncertainty in the air. There's a lot of complexity and ambiguity. And everyone asks, so now, what's the strategy? Where are we going? Where are we going? I must admit it was quite a panicking moment for a brief period. But with the good guidance of the university governance and management, we are here today. So I'd like to start with a special thanks to our guest of honor, Madam Mrs. Bernadette, Ms. Musunde. She's also the chair of the council for her very special guidance and coming for the occasion. It's your occasion, so it's also interesting for me to also welcome you to your own house, but karibu sana. And we take away the words of wisdom that you have given us. And what I'll take away from now is we will indeed ensure that every department receives the copy and they can align their operational plans to the strategic plan. That one, we can assure you we will do that and follow up on the implementation. I'd also like to special thanks to Dr. Susan Kibue. She's the chairman of the Oversight Committee, which looks also after strategy. So therefore, for all your guidance, we appreciate through this journey. I will not leave out, I think, special thanks to the Pro-Chancellor, wherever you're watching. Thank you for joining us on this occasion. I cannot go on without mentioning the Vice-Chancellor. Thank you, Prof, for the guidance, for the challenges, for the questions during all these meetings. You've made us think, you've made us come up with something that we can share with the rest. And as you said, that we are aiming for a 4th generation university, we will make sure that we pursue that relentlessly by reminding everyone within the university where we want to be in 2025, which is a 4th generation university where we take our rightful role as a university in a social transformation. We all know that it's important in these times that we we lead in terms of thoughtfulness and ethical leadership as a university. That we will keep reminding everyone until whenever they see us, they'll be singing a song. I'd also like to thank the Vice-Chancellor designate. He's always been there, quietly supporting our office. If I didn't thank you, it would not be. You've always reminded us, you've always pushed us. We are doing so many things behind the scenes where the VCD is always pushing us. Now, the management board, special thank you. You all know yourselves. And I must say, Dorina, I don't know if she remembers me, but I do remember her when she was in Kianda about 27 years ago now. So I still remember being taught how to be ladylike, and sometimes I question whether I am enough. Remember picking the rubbish. So thank you very much, members of the board. You've been very supportful, and with your guidance along the way, I had my laptop decided to go on sleep mode as I wasn't touching it. Now, Dr. Mungai, who also sits on the management board, he's my boss, and DVC Planning and Development. Thank you very much, Dr. Mungai, for your continued support, your patience, the late night, sometimes when I'm sending a report late, he's still patient the next day when I'm coming in expecting a real thorough, telling off. I'm very grateful. The deans present, we appreciate your support and your continued guidance on the journey. We have gone, this has taken a long journey, and you've been together with us, changing and doing, and your patience whenever we asked you to give us the implementation plans, and we kept changing the formatting and all that. That would drive anyone a bit not very happy. Okay. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of all the SQA champions in the room and the ones watching online. Each department has had a strategy and quality assurance champion who worked very tirelessly with us on this strategy. We held several workshops, and they were very, very supportive on this journey. And then our real heroes of the day are the technical team, and the administration team for the venue. The technical team, Matthews, Allison, the photographers. If I don't mention your name, please forgive me, but just know that we really appreciate your efforts for the day. The organizing committee, and of course, Pauline. Pauline, thank you very, very much. You've been very helpful. I was sometimes very nervous. I'm quite those jumpy type of people. And Pauline would just be calmly there looking at me like, why are you worried? Everything is going to be all right. So I'm really, really grateful for your strength, Pauline, and your support. And they say that without gratitude and saying it is just like wrapping a present and not giving it. So no one will know that you actually wanted to give them a present. So I'm very grateful. This is my way of saying thank you. And I will hand over back the mic to the master of ceremony, the lady of ceremony, who will graciously invite you all for a cake cutting session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shall we appreciate Jackie? I think she has already invited us to the cake cutting, but she assured me earlier that we have real champagne. So shall we go and toast to the occasion? Thank you.